Okay. So with the pop example, we were able to populate the array, and we call the array underscore pop, which is a built-in function. We gave it the array. It was able to take the last and first out item out, and we pushed that item into a variable fruit, which displayed that for us that it is mango. And the remaining array is what we displayed on the line after, and that showed only orange and apple are left. So we will now move on to array push.php. So here we have an array, and in this array we would like to push an item. So we are not interested in popping anything out. So we would like to push into stack sometimes I wonder where pineapple. And let's see what it looks like. Oops. Push. Oh, it didn't even save it. I don't know what's going on. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me save it as array push. Okay, now it did. I don't know what's wrong. Okay. So now array push stack pineapple. We would like to push that. As a result, we'll now be able to see that we have orange, apple, mango, and then we were able to push in pineapple. So it was added towards the end, not in the beginning, but towards the end, because it appends to the list. So it always adds it to the end. So it works like a stack though, with the last and first out option. That's a push pop operation.
So I noticed that it doesn't have an indicator next to it when you print out the array. I'm assuming it still has an indicator, right?
Yeah, it is
Or
still,
an index,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Yeah, it does has an index, right? Then we will learn about how you can actually move something from the front of the list. Just like last in, first out, we also have a first in, first out. That is called array shift. Array shift. So this is my array, orange, apple, and mango. And I will say, I want fruit to be equals to array underscore shift stack. So let me echo fruit. And alongside, we will also display the remaining stack. And you will see that only apple and mango are left. Orange comes off the list. So shift is just the opposite of pop. Okay. We will now save this one as array unshift. Unshift allows you to add an element or elements also to the beginning of the list. So for example, again, I work with the same list, and then I'll say I would like an array underscore unshift to the stack. I would like to add, let's say, grapes or grape, and I would like to add blueberry. And now let's have a look at the stack. So grape and blueberry are added to the front of the stack. Okay, everybody with me so far? Okay.
Yep.
Now in the chat, I am sharing with all of you a link to tutorialrepublic.com, which talks about cookies. So this is not something new. We have learned about this in advanced Java as well. So I would like you guys to go ahead and review this short page tutorial, and then we'll start working with the cookies. Give me a green check when you guys are done reviewing this document and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so let's start working with an example with cookies. So let's create our very first PHP file, which we'll call cookies1.php. Let me do this rather. Let me set the cookie name as user ID and cookie value equals to now set the cookie. First parameter is the cookie name. That is the name of the cookie. Then the cookie value. Okay. What's the third parameter, guys?
Time.
Time, right? So let's calculate that. If I were to do 1 day, that will be what? What is the time? Sorry, yeah, it is. It's in milliseconds, right? Or is it? What is the unit of time here?
I think a unit of time is 1 second. It didn't specify that we had to do milliseconds, so.
Let's see. It is seconds. And there are how many seconds in a minute, in an hour?
360, right?
How many seconds in 1 hour?
360 seconds for 1 hour, right?
1 hour.
And then that times 24
Okay.
for a day.
Are you sure it's 360? Because 60 times 60 is 3,600.
Right, because 60 seconds times 60 minutes for 1 hour.
Right, that is 3,600.
Right.
Not 360.
Yeah, 3,600.
3,600, right.
My bad.
So in one given day, we will have how many? 3,600 times 24.
86,400.
86,400. Okay. So time plus 86,400. And I'm at the root level, so it's fine. Now, if not is set, means if it is not set, what is not set? The cookie. What is the name of the cookie that is stored inside? the cookie name variable. If that variable is not set, then echo cookie name is not set. Otherwise, cookie name and cookie value. Okay, cookie name user ID is not set. Now let me reload. And here you go. The first time it comes in, it's not set because we are setting it. And then when you refresh, then it is set. So it tells us that it is set. Okay, everybody got this one?
One sec.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Now let's create an example. Let's save this one as, we're going to call this one delete cookie. When you are deleting a cookie, you need to set the cookie followed by the name of the cookie, whatever that cookie is. We will set it to no value and we can let it expire in the past.
Actually, no, it's not working.
The previous one is not working for you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What it-
neither is mine. I just tried.
Let me bring
It
this up
says
again.
cannot modify header information. Headers are
Yeah, that
sent
is exactly
by-
the same thing I'm getting.
And anybody else getting the same error?
Probably because I'm on PHP 8 now.
The last one?
Yeah,
With
for the
the
last
with the
one.
reload now, because it's working for me.
Did you refresh? Still giving you the same problem?
Yeah, it is.
Maybe you're right. It's 8 because I'm not using 8. Um, you know, try quickly creating a new project. And does it allow you to manually select a lower version? And see if you can copy the file in that project and run it from there to see if that works. Like I picked 7.2 when I created mine.
Yeah, no, same error.
Even
think
with the
it's yeah,
even
I
with
think
the-
it's a runtime thing. 'Cause I have the 8 runtime. Well, I have the 8 version, so I don't think it's gonna let me magically go back, is what I'm saying.
I do not have 8 version, and it does work on 7.2 for me.
it will work
Hmm.
on 7.2. It is just giving him problem on 8.
I'm
Well, no, because
using
I set the in the project I set the PHP version to 7.2 and it still didn't work.
I'm using 8 and it's working for me.
Yay! This is very confusing.
I have seen that error a few years ago. And it was because of the version difference. I remember that. But that's strange. You know, slight configuration differences can break the web server. It's very
Yeah.
sensitive.
Oh, you know what? It's because I have the HTML around it. Like the template that Eclipse gives you, and now it's fine. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing is, from what I read from one sentence on the internet, so PHP will write because HTTP is hypertext, it's just text. It tries to write a header like in the middle of the other HTML, and
Yes, actually,
obviously things don't like that.
yes, absolutely. I'm glad you brought up that point. When you're working with cookies and stuff like that, like setting the cookies and stuff like that, that needs to be done prior to you writing your doc type statement. If you do it after the doc type, then starts complaining about the headers. So that's one thing. Yep, you're right. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, this is the delete cookie one that I was working with. So setting the cookie to expire in the past. So now I can say echo cookie is deleted. Oh, I shouldn't use the cookie underscore name. I called it user ID. That's what I should say. User ID cookie set to nothing. Yeah. Okay, next we will check cookies, means we'll check if cookies are enabled. So we will set the user ID cookie to a value of, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will set it to expire in an hour. And now once you do your cookie setters, now you can start working with your HTML code. If count cookie, if it is greater than 0, then echo that cookies are enabled. Else cookies are disabled. Okay, everybody got this? We will now create our, or let's save this one as set cookies.php. I'll just use this example to set my cookies, and I'll use another one to test it. So I want my cookies to expire in 2 months. So what should I write here as a formula? Time?
Like time plus 86400 times 30, 31.
3600 times 24 times 60, right? Or 86,400
Yeah.
times 60. Okay.
Yeah. 30.
Set cookie. last visit is set to in 2 months. Okay. Okay, so that's done. I ran it once so that the cookie is set. Now I will double click on check cookies. And let me save it as check cookies 2. In this example, we are not setting the cookie. The cookie is already set for us. We're just testing. If is set the cookie by the name of last visit, if that's enabled, we'll grab the value of last visit and we'll put it in the variable visit. Cookies are enabled. Last visit. This visit. Cookies are disabled, or you have got stale cookies. Anyway. Everybody got this? Yes.
Okay. No.
Yes. Okay. So we have got Cameron, Tristan, Josh, and Aiden still working on it. Still coding, Tristan and Josh? Or do you have any errors?
Sorry.
Okay. I think Tristan is the only one left. Just want to make sure you're not having any errors. Okay, got it. Okay. Now let's enclose the visit in the date function. And let's give it a date format. MDY HIS. So that should fix it for you guys. What? 2 months from now. Okay, April 23rd. Oh, it's in Greenwich Mean Time. Hold on a second. Okay, that makes more sense. So I totally forgot we have to set time zones. Otherwise, it defaults to Greenwich Mean Time. Okay. Now, let's create a new PHP file called hostback.php. Hostback.php. Font color, not size. You guys remember postback from Java, where the form submits back to itself versus a different page? So that's why the action says postback.php, which is the name of the same page. Now let's test this to make sure that things are working before we start adding something to the top. So I'm going to run this post back. Let me make a choice and hit post back. Okay, so it just submits back, doesn't do anything. And as you can see in the drop-down box, the value has changed. That means it is able to post itself back and refresh the drop-down box. Now at the top, I will write an if condition. If is set. Okay, did everybody get it this far?
I need to see the top if statement.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Kristen, how about you?
Oh, sorry. I did get it.
Oh, no, Tristan, not Christian. Now I'm adding some code to the head portion. Style, oops. If the font color cookie is set, then I want in the body tag that throughout my entire document, I want the font color property, or it should be color property to be hashtag HTML entities. So we'll be converting the value into an equivalent HTML value. And all the CSS properties are separated by semicolons. So that's why we have this semicolon in the double quotes. Otherwise, if the value is not set, then the color will be let me test this real quick. There we go. What? It takes it sometimes and doesn't take it the other time. Okay, blue, post back. Okay, I don't know why is it taking double post backs? Oh, because the cookie gets set the first time. It doesn't really affect right away. It is nothing right now. If I set it to blue, it is set the first time. Now it is blue. Pick a blue color, set, we assign the font color to that color. The cookie is set because we just set it. So I'm testing it in the browser right now with the developer tools open. If I set it to blue and I hit a post back, the color is still green until and unless I refresh and then it changes.
Or if you hit post back again, I found if you double click it, it'll work for some reason.
Yeah, of course it will work when I double click it without a problem. But I'm wondering, why is it not doing the first time? Because we click it, it posts back, it sets the color of the cookie to that value. Elements. See, the value in the cookie is 999. If I pick a color, let's say green, I'm looking at my cookies here. See, the color is 0F0, which is gray. Okay, so let's do red. What? Okay, it is red. Let me do blue. It is blue, but it didn't change over here. That's what I'm saying. The cookie is getting the correct value.
Well, when does the browser read the cookie? Does it read the browser when it loads or when it refreshes?
That's what I'm looking at. So the cookie is working. That part is working. But this part down below here in the style, it's basically where the problem is. Because it is still tapping onto the old value. So I was in application. Now let me go back to elements. So F00. And it is 00F. So there is a difference between, so HTML code still holds on to the older value. I'm testing this to see if this will make any difference. I hope it doesn't keeps refreshing. Yeah, it just automatically refreshes. I don't want to do that one. I don't want to auto refresh the page every 3 seconds. Yeah, no. Let me test one more thing. File, save as. Check.php. Okay. Okay. So this is what I did. On the postback page, right at the top where I wrote my cookie statement, I set the cookie. So let me get rid of the styling over here. Okay. So I'm basically asking the user that the cookie was set. If you want to see the changes, you should click here at so-and-so place. So when they do that, I'm redirecting them to check.php. And in the check.php is where I am using the cookie's value to set the font color. So this is how it's working. So here I choose a color and I hit post back. Now click on the link and that page shows that color that I've set. So I'll show you the changes for the first one, postback.php. Let me know when you guys are done with these changes, and then I'll show you the check.php. So I will scroll down a little bit for everybody to make sure that they have what needs to be done for this file, and give me a green check if you're done making all the changes in this one.
I wonder when I turned off my camera.
Might have hit a shortcut or something, you know. Is it Alt V or something like that? Alt V as in Victor. Okay, so we have Josh and Cameron, I think still working on this, or probably forgot to give me a green check. Oh, okay, Josh got it. Cameron? Okay, so now let me show you the check.php. So in the check.php is where I wrote in the style tag the entire PHP block to check to see if the cookie exists. If it does, then give that color to the color property, otherwise set it to 333. And then wrote some code over here where you can see the color of the text on the page. And then there is a link back to the post back page to make any changes. This is check.php. So when you guys are done coding this one, then test the code by first going to the post back, choose a color, submit it to the postback, and then click the link to come to the check.php and see if you can see that the text on check.php should reflect the color that you chose on the postback page. So that basically should complete the entire cycle, that you first pick the color, post back, and then click the link, and that will take you to the next page, check.php, and that will show you the color. So we have Aiden, Tristan, and Cameron left. I don't know if Cameron is there or not. Heard from him. Oh, he is there. Okay. Okay, so guys, let's take a break over here till 7:40. And when we come back at 7:40, then I will be assigning you an activity for a few minutes. And then we will be transitioning to the session management. And as you can see that cookies are local and sessions are on the web server. So if you want to store information on a local computer, cookie is the way to go. If you want to store information temporarily on the server, then session is the way to go. So I'll see you guys at 7:40.
All right, see you then.
Resume recording here. And let's start with the very first PHP file here. We'll call this one session example 1.
Meant to be sharing your screen.
Oh, I will share my screen. Thank you very much for reminding that. Okay, so I'm starting with a page called session example 1. Now, just like cookies, sessions must be the very first thing on your page because it must be sent to the web browser prior to sending anything else. Otherwise, it will start complaining the way it was complaining before. So what exactly happens when you first start the session? Your web server will send a cookie to the web browser saying that I want to establish a session with you, and will give that communication channel a unique identification, a very long unique identification, which will not be established or given as an ID to any other session at that time happening between the web server and any of the other web browsers. Okay, so that's what basically it does when it starts the session. So how do you start a session? It tells you in that article that I shared with you guys in the chat that this is how you start a session and the session gets started. Now, once you start your session, after that, you can just write whatever code you want to write, but that must be the very first thing that you will do in a page. Okay, so now you do your closeouts and everything else. Once we're done with this, we will now start our session and we will set the session variable. Let's say favorite color. And we will set our favorite animal. And favorite food. Okay. So we just do a simple 3 session variables sets, and then we tell the user that the session variables are set. And let's run this. Whenever you're done, you can go ahead and run this. And it should come back saying that session variables are set. That should be the only output that should come out of this example. Give me a green check when you guys are done with this so that we can move on to the next file where we will tap into these session variables and pull some information out. So Mason and Tristan still working on it. Okay, it's fine. Okay, everybody got this? Awesome. Now, let's save this as session example number 2. Now we will start echoing these out. Echo. Favorite color. Well, did I make a mistake in my session 1? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, I'm good. Okay. So it's favorite animal. and favorite food. So now let me run this one. And here it was able to pull all this information out for me. I'm going to show you the page again. Here we go. So if I go to my web browser and I open the developers tool, and then I press F12 to open the developers tool and go to the application. In the application down under cookies, this is the session ID. It says PHP session ID, and that's the unique identification number that's being sent from the web server to the browser to establish the session. Okay. I'm clearing the feedback, asking for another feedback. So if everybody's done, can you please give me a green check again? I didn't know if I refreshed the last one or not. Okay, so add this line over here, which is modify a session variable. Okay. After you do this modification, go ahead and rerun this page only, the session 2 page. Just maybe refresh it. It will still say Nihari for now. If I refresh it again, then it'll say another, so I was able to modify it that way. So you could modify it. And then since I'm modifying it after displaying it, therefore in the next run, it will show you the modified value. Okay, so now let's create our next page called destroy session. Destroy session.php. Okay. Again, we got to do session underscore start to start the session. Okay, so start the PHP stuff. To remove all session variables, session underscore unset. Destroy the session. It is session underscore destroy. Yeah. Oh, on line number 14. Okay. Let me do this. No. Let's see how I can do that one. Let me test this first, guys. No, it's not letting me modify it later on because it's not at the beginning. Cool, that works. Okay, so let's do this. Let's unset the variables. Let's destroy the session. And now let's redirect using JavaScript. So what we're trying to test over here is that after we unset all the variables and destroy the session, when we now visit session example 2, all the variables will be set to nothing. That's what we are testing right over here. Just making sure that all of them are set to nothing. So again, give me a check mark once everybody has checked to make sure that they're able to do this. Cameron and Ronan are the only one. Mason and Cameron are the only ones still working on it, or forgot to give me a check. Cameron got it. Okay. Mason, any questions, or are you still coding? Oh, you got it too. Okay. Guys, if you remember in advanced Java, we did an example where we had a login form. We entered username and password. That would take us to the next page, which would register a session. And then we had a logout process that will help us log out. And then we will redirect to make sure that the whole process is done. You guys remember that?
Mhm.
Okay. I see Christian does. How about the rest of you? If you could give me a thumbs up if you remember that. Okay, Alan. Okay. Mason, James, oh, James also, okay. Mason and Cameron, you guys don't remember that? I suppose no, because you didn't give me a thumbs up. Well, basically, let me talk about it again. What we did was we created a form with a username and password. And somebody will click on the button, like a submit button, that will submit the page to the next page, which will receive this information. And after it receives that information, it will create the session based on that information. And then we'll forward you to another page, which will be your landing page, where you will have a logout option where you can simply log out, and then will be redirected back to the login page. That was basically what we did. In PHP, something like this could be done. The redirection could be done with the help of JavaScript, because the PHP built-in redirection is a header, which needs to be right at the top where we have the session start. One thing you have to keep in mind that in PHP, all the pages that require you to have a start session, has to do with sessions, they need to have the session start right at the top. Otherwise, it doesn't know that you will be using sessions. You need to tell it ahead of time that you will be doing some session management in this page. So that's one thing that's a little bit different in PHP. So if I were to create a form here, it could be an HTML page or it could be a PHP page, doesn't matter. But let's start with an HTML page, for example, and this will be my login.html. In the login page, form method equals to post, action equals to session1.php. You guys got this piece, right? All of you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Even Aiden and Josh, you guys?
Yeah, now I realize I forgot to connect the two pages. I forgot the action session one.php. That's where I was struggling.
Okay. See, that's why I'm putting these activities, because when I do it, you guys are following, but when you get to do it yourself, then you probably looking at little pieces. So session1.php will be the page that you are creating here. So what do we do when we start a session? As we learned in our previous pages, So we need a session start right away. That's the first thing we do. And then we can start doing the rest of the code like we did over here. Okay. So I'm just copy pasting the code. Now, the only difference is that I will be using a session variable, let's say username. I don't want to store password, but the value of username is actually coming from where?
From the form on the HTML page.
Exactly. Okay. And I have my variable name as username for that. And that's what I will use. So that creates a session variable. That's about it. Then in the destroy session one, we learn how you can redirect through a JavaScript. So we're going to be redirecting to a page that I will create called landing.php. So my form submits to session1.php, and session1.php grabs the information from the form, puts it in a session variable, and then redirects to landing.php. Did everybody get this far? I mean, like those of you who didn't. Seems like people are still working on it. I'm just waiting for everybody to give me a go so will go to the next page. Okay. So I will now create my landing.php. So I will save this one as my landing.php. And in my landing.php page, I'm simply asking okay, echo hello user so and so. Welcome. Logout.php is something that we will create next, but this is basically what we have for now. Logout.php will be displayed as a link down below on the landing page. This is where we will get to see the user information that we stored in the session to make sure that we were able to successfully store it and retrieve it. And the logout page will help us clear everything out and redirect to the login page. Again, let me clear out the feedbacks. Whenever you guys are done with this one, give me a thumbs up. Or check, whatever. Two people left, James and Josh. Okay, cool. Now I can go back to that page I created called destroy session.jsp. The same page I can save as logout.jsp so that I don't have to reinvent the wheel. And all I will do is, instead of redirecting to session example 2.php, I will just simply redirect to login.html. That's all I'm doing. So I saved destroy session.php as logout.php. Okay, let me clear the feedback again for you guys to give me a check to make sure that you guys have completed this. And then all I would like you to do next is to go to the login.html and let's run it on the server to make sure things are working just fine. So here I enter a user and a password and hit login. So it says, hello, user Saad, welcome, log out, and that's about it.
Really mad that I completely just managed to overlook the script thing because that's what was hanging me up.
Okay. But does that make sense to you now?
Oh yeah, like I said, I knew exactly what I needed it to do. And if I hadn't missed the script bit, this wouldn't have been an issue.
Okay. Okay. How about the rest of you who didn't get to come this far? Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, Josh, how about you? And Alan? Josh, I can't hear you. If you're speaking, you're muted.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I was saying that, yeah, now that you went over it, I noticed what I missed and stuff.
Okay. Okay, cool. So guys, we're going to stop over here tonight. I wanted to go into another topic, but probably I won't be able to do that.